A big part of Twitter and every other social network is the social aspect of it, talking to other folks, not just reading what they have to say, clicking their links, bullhorning out all your information, but actually interacting with other users. Twitter, you do that through @ replies or mentions is another word for it. There's different things to call it, but that's where you put the @ symbol and then the username, and it shows that the post is directed at that person. It's somewhat like writing on someone's wall on Facebook, where it's a message to that person, but it's visible for everyone else to see. It's not a private message. Twitter does have a private message function that some people use quite a lot. I personally just use email instead of that, but that's up to you. But if you do a public mention, that's for anyone to see. So you can see here, whoops, get my selection over here. Yeah, I mean, you see here, Brandon Miller mentioned Pastor Chris Hill and his. If you mention them in the beginning, it's a message that will only go. The only people who will see it are people that follow both of you. It's sort of a mention directly to them. But if the username is in the middle of a post, let me find an example of that. Yeah, where this is actually a retweet, but it's in the middle where Kenna posted it. She said, "This seems great. Everyone that follows Kenna will see it." If she put Chris Yates at the beginning, the only people that would see that, short of clicking on her profile, again, it's still not private, would be people that follow both of you. So you have examples like Scott Stratton, um, where, let's pull his up. We've got tons of his are just @ where he just talks to folks all day long. And the cool thing is, I follow him. I don't see all this junk. I only see the posts he put out. I love ribbons on the back of cars. So I saw that one, and then reply, 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 reply. The only ones of those I'll see if they happen to be someone that I also follow, so I can sort of stay in the loop. So it's a great way on Twitter. You can reply to folks all day long, interact with folks, talk to them, reply to their comments, and you're not clogging up the stream for other users. Now the key is to know when people are talking to you, and I've done some posts on my blog of car dealerships and churches that just flat ignore it because it doesn't show up in your stream. People look like, here's what's going on. It's very important to click this mentions tab. Now if you use TweetDeck or the Twitter app on your iPhone or different things, it'll help you with that. But if all you use is the site, you need to look at this mentions tab. So we click that. This is all the tweets recently that had McMel in them. So here's where Ken and I were talking a little bit. So she said, "What do you like about Prezi?" And then all I see here is her replies. But if I click this little conversation bubble, it'll pull the whole thing up here. So I wrote, "I really like Prezi, but the lack of an Android app." And she said, "Well, what do you like about Prezi?" And here's where we went back and forth talking about it. Let's see another good one. Let's scroll down. Yeah, I was talking to Joseph Thornton about devices. He was talking about phones with big screens, and I was pushing him to see which one he was talking about. It was before the Galaxy Nexus was officially announced, and he didn't want to go any further there. But check out this mentions feed quite often just to see if people are talking about you, especially if you're a business. I got on one of my rants on my blog because I sent a tweet to my car dealer who has Twitter on their homepage. They push Twitter all the time and said, "Hey, do I need an appointment for an oil change?" Never heard back from him. I gave him a couple days, which is insanely long anyhow, and finally just gave up and called him. And yeah, it was pretty stupid for them to have to do that. I mean, if you're going to promote your Twitter account, use it. Just all you got to do is just click that mentions tab and just see what's going on. I see right now I have no new mentions today. I'm good to go. Takes no time. If you do have a mention and want to reply, just hover over, or any other tweet. This doesn't have to be in mentions. You can do this straight from your timeline, but hover over it and just click the reply button. It'll put their name first. And you can say, "Hey, that sounds great," whatever you want to put there. Or in the middle of a tweet, you can be typing along and say, "Had a great time with @," and it'll actually search through your list. I'll put my wife here, @Mrs. McMel. Had a great time with Mrs. McMel today. Shopping and going out and stuff, whatever. So you can put it in the middle of your post, and again, this one will go to everyone. Will see this in their timeline that follows me, that they mentioned her. It's a good way. I try to use those whenever appropriate, rather than saying "had a great time with Kelly today." People will be like, "Well, who's Kelly?" A lot of folks follow me that don't know me personally very well. This way, it shows up linked in the address, so people can click on it, see her profile, see who she is, and maybe follow her. And this works where she wrote, "What do you like about Prezi?" We're talking about Prezi. Now they get notified in their mentions tab that we're talking about them, and people that have no idea what Prezi is can click it to see what's going on. So mentioning folks can be quite useful. It's really kind of the core of Twitter, is to keep up with folks and talk to folks and interact and just be social.